Hello and welcome today. This is really a very special day for us. Lori and I are very excited. We are Women Making Miracles and also the creators of the Greatest You Academy. I'm Mia Sines and this is Lori Montree. Awesome. So we wanted to talk today about manifesting. It's a super powerful place that most people talk about but don't actually get to, or they do little tiny bits here and there. And so we want to talk about big stuff. This week, I actually manifested a free RV, a 30-foot beautiful RV, just like crazy. That day was totally insane because everything I did was as if I was, and this is part of it, as if I was completely open to receiving everything good. I'd gone to the doctors that day or an acupuncturist. I got $20 off my bill. I put an ad up for our book division that we have for an artist for one of our clients, and 25 qualified people submitted their artwork. Just brilliant. Money came in. It was just crazy. The next day, money came in again unexpectedly, $125. I said, "What's this for?" And she said, "I've been wanting to give it to you for a couple years." I said, "Oh, okay." It's as smooth and easy as that.
Yeah.
Did you know that manifesting is part of healing? So change, follow me here, everybody, change within ourselves is healing. Healing is everything. It's the opening, the expansion to who we actually are. And we can have physical healings, we can have emotional healings, and we can also have things that come to us. I want to share, besides, I just mentioned the RV. And so the RV wasn't specifically on my radar. I had put it out there that I wanted my son to have a place to live with his new bride while they get everything ready and a house built and all that. And so I put it out there. I saw someone say, "I'm going to give away this RV because I just can't deal with it anymore." It was in my community. I saw it online. I put my name in there and why I wanted it, and just knew that it was a done deal. I said to my son,
Yeah.
this is ours. And he's like, "What?" And I haven't drawn my name yet, but it's ours. And a week later, I got this message that said, "You won the RV." And it was just as simple as that. I didn't spend any money on it. It's beautiful. It's big. And my son is still blown away. He's like, "How did you do this?" Things like that flow super easy.
Yeah.
Before I have Lori, Lori and I talked about, we want to ground you into how humans manifest. But I share one story, or actually I'll share it afterwards. It's how we went from our income back in 1995 from 35,000 a year to 180,000 a year. But first, let Lori share with us how we ground our human self into this whole space of creating manifestation. It is us.
Yes, and I love this conversation, and it reminds me of what I've shared with people very often, which is, we are constantly just being rained down blessings and gifts, RVs, everything, anything that would support us is being literally rained down on us all day long, every day. But what we do, and it's not to, it's a natural thing, and we'll talk a little bit about why we do this, but we've got our umbrella up, and what you're talking about is you let your umbrella down so that everything, right, and have been for most of your life. It's about noticing when we've got our umbrella up, blocking the beautiful gifts and just energy and things that are ours already, right? And if, as long as we can keep our umbrella put away, right, and realize we don't need to be blocking it, then that's the kind of days that we have, where you pull up and you're, oh, this full parking lot. Oh, someone pulls out just as I'm pulling in, or whatever. Those things are real. That is the life that we can live. Now, that's not to say that we're always perfect at it or whatever. Of course, you and I still put up our umbrellas sometimes, but it's the awareness. Oh, I've got my umbrella up. I need to, right, do the things that help me put that back down so that I can continue to receive the abundance that is already there for me. In this day and age, especially after COVID, I also started talking to people about, it's like everything that you want has already been delivered by the Amazon driver, right? It's on your front porch right now. All you have to do is go open the door and bring those boxes in, right? That's what manifesting is like. And we make it sound so easy. So I don't mean to say, that it is the easiest thing in the world. It is the most simple thing in the world because all we have to do is stop blocking it. But there are certainly a lot of ways that we have learned to block it. And that's what the Academy is really all about. The Academy is structured such that in the beginning, we figure out, who are you? What are the things you want to manifest? Because if those aren't in alignment with what would actually make you happy, then what good does it do to try to acquire things or to achieve something that's not going to ultimately bring you authentic joy? So we spend a little bit of time figuring out what that is. And then we dive into the blocks that keep us from accepting the abundance that is available to us. So when we talk about putting down your umbrella and letting those gifts and abundance and the financial security, the wealth, the beautiful relationships, the RVs, if that is what is helpful in your life, the everything, when we talk about, putting down your umbrella and allowing that, a lot of times we have old stories playing. I'm not worth that. I'm not worthy of those things. Those things can't happen to me. My family doesn't have wealth. I don't know. I don't have deeply respecting, gorgeous relationships. That's not what my experience is. People don't, love me and respect me. I'm not somebody who fill in the blank, right? And those are all us putting up, these are all umbrellas for us. And so the Academy really dives into, what are those beliefs that are keeping you from really putting that down? It's one thing. It's manifesting is two parts. It's focusing on what you want, right? And believing that it's yours, right? But you also have to be on the other side, not allowing those old stories, those old patterns, those limiting beliefs that say, if you have that, you're not good, or you're not worthy of that, or that could never happen for me, right? It's both things. And what happens a lot of times, you can think of manifesting, it can be like a bullet train, like Mia is talking about, like that. Literally, once you embody and fully allow in that space, there's nothing blocking it. So it's already there. So it's literally like putting down your umbrella, bam, it's there. Right. But what we do so often is we're like, oh, I really, really want this, but I'm not worthy of it. I really, really want this. Oh, but it's never happened before. I really, really want this. So what happens, we're just in this space the whole time, right? We move a little towards it, and then we come right back to right? We start to put our umbrella down, then we put it right back up, put it down, put it up, put it down, and nothing can get in, right? And so we're in that space for so much of the time. So when you remove the blocks, when you realize, yes, I am worthy of these things. Yes, I can have these things. It doesn't matter what my previous experience was, right? I'm going to think and know and own the experience that I want. And when you can remove the blocks, that's when you're able to really just, this is what I want, this is what I want, and only go in that direction. And that's really how we designed the Academy, is to help you understand the blocks. Your emotions are so important, because your emotions are essentially what is driving your manifestations. So if you are in the energy of, oh my gosh, I am on fire, this is incredible, I have this dream in my heart, and I know that is meant for me, and I know I can make that happen, right? If that is your emotions and your energy, bam, it's done, right? But so often we're like, oh, I'd really like that, but I don't know how I can do that. Or, oh, that came up. I guess that shows it's not meant for me. Or, whatever those conversations are that go on in the back of our mind that just keep pulling away what we're wanting and what is essentially ours. It's our birthright. These things were meant for us. So working with the thoughts, working with the emotions, how do I create the emotions of the person that I know myself to be, my greatest self? How do I think like my greatest self? How do I feel like my greatest self? How do I, and we also have many other modules on what is the health of my greatest self? What is the relationships of my greatest self? What is the nervous system of my greatest self? And that's a different conversation for another time. Can't go too far into it, but just know that every piece of the greatest you is created to help you believe that these things are yours, believe that they're on your front porch. And all you have to do is go bring them in and get your box cutter out and open up all the things that you're wanting. And there's so much that that we've been able to provide for people. So for example, people come to the Academy because they want relationships. We recently created the Ready for Love series, which is now part of the Academy, which helps people, whether you're coupled or looking for that beautiful love connection. What do I need to do? What are some of the blocks that are particular for relationship? We have a division that is dedicated to those who are authors and who want to have their story or their meaningful work put out in the world. Mia helps them, takes them through the process of becoming published. And through the Greatest You Mia has a micro publishing company that makes that happen. We have the division that deals with people who have struggle with their relationship with their food and their body to help them end emotional eating and reclaim their health. So we're constantly adding new divisions all the time because it all comes from the same place, right? Once we put our umbrellas down, everything that we've ever dreamed of having literally can be ours. So I'm kind of curious if anybody is thinking about this and how it applies to you. I'd love to see in the chat, what are you holding back, right? What is wanting to rain down on you that you might have your umbrella up to right now?
And as you do that, I want to share something. I love that Lori talked about opening your door and having all your Amazon stuff there. I've been teaching for years that you just open your closet door and everything you want is in there. And you get to claim what you want. So it's either Christmas morning or your birthday. And the reason I was born into this thought process, so I guess in one respect, it's beautiful that that my grandmother taught me this, but I remember I was raised metaphysical. So I remember being at a church service where some guy gave a testimony and said, I wanted a car. I needed a car. And so I started doing work on getting a car. And then I bought a Volkswagen, a blue Volkswagen Bug. But I was driving down the street and I saw a blue Cadillac coming towards me. And I thought, how beautiful. I really want that. And he heard a voice that said, you chose the Volkswagen Bug. So this is what we're talking about making your choices decisive, exactly what you want, not the willy-nilly all over the place, because yeah, you'll get stuff. But what do you really want and how fast do you want to bring it in? There's seeding manifestation and there's immediate manifestation. And before we answer anybody's questions in the chat, I wanted to share that a couple of healings that remember, I said manifesting is also healings. It's any creation that you allow to come through to you. There's a beautiful, I took this off the internet, but it explained it clearly. What is manifesting? Contrary to belief that seeing is believing, manifestation is all about believing in something in order to see it come your way. Manifesting is the ability to use the power of your mind to change and create your reality you experience. So, in a sense, isn't that what we're doing? We're changing what humanity has told us and put upon us to the space where we can say, I want something different. Now,
Mhm.
I promised you guys to hear that story about money. So when my second son was born, I got all nervous and said, oh my gosh, I have to go back to work. So being a nurse that I was, I decided to go back to the hospice care facility that I worked at and to work the graveyard because I thought, which is the night shift, because I thought that I needed to help out that way. Well, after about a month, I found that it was very wearing on me to take care of my babies during the day, sleep, and then go to work cheerful. So one night I started reading the not the what's the pink paper? It's not not the Wall Street Journal. Anyways, I was reading a financial paper, and then I started reading some spiritual stuff. And all of a sudden, I realized, which I knew, but I had pushed out of my awareness for a while because I hadn't been practicing. I knew that my manifestation came to me not necessarily by me working, but through the people that I was around. I was married, I had a husband, he was working. We chose for him to work because at the time he was making a little more money than I was. So he would be my manifestation. It would come through that way. The next morning, so I got off work. So we were already in the middle of the night, got off work, went to bed, was woken up by a phone call from one of my best friends who was a line producer on the new Austin Powers movie. We're talking about 1995. And so what's really cool about that is she said, I need Tony on the set tomorrow because he is one, he was a lifeguard with the fire department. He was an EMT paramedic. And she said, I need him to be our medical department, but he has to come today to fill out the paperwork because tomorrow we become union. And so he will have his first 30 days and be union instead of it taking him 4 to 5 years to get in the union. The next day, he started on Austin Powers. He had gone that day, done all the paperwork, started. Our life changed from approximately 35,000 in 1995 to 180. So it doesn't, he wasn't looking to be in the movie business, but it appeared. We stepped to what is divinely ours. And then there's a couple of more things that we'll just say really quickly about the physical healing. We can heal our bodies as well. Many of you know Louise Hayes and her Heal Your Life. Well, this work is actually based in metaphysics, but also we have somebody's thing on here. Okay, based in metaphysics, but very, very strong in the sense that as soon as you declare it, you receive it. I had been working with a heart thing for many, many years. I was born with a regular heart, but due to early childhood trauma, it was enlarged. And also I had 2 incidences with my heart, a heart attack in 2014 and in 2017, microvascular disease, which is where the oxygen and blood flow are not reaching your heart. Within a matter of a month or less, the microvascular disease left my body. I did my work. We will be talking about healings and stuff in the manifesting part of the academy. And crazy enough, I just had a full workup because I wanted to know what was going on with my body. So I went to a new cardiologist, had a full workup. He said there's nothing in my arteries. They're clean. There's no signs of heart damage. My heart is perfect. And I asked him, I said, what about the enlarged heart? And he said, you don't have an enlarged heart. I'm sorry, but I used to. It was documented with 2 other doctors. So healings like this should be every day. As humans and spiritual beings with souls, which we all have, That connection is so powerful that we should be bringing this stuff into our life at every given moment. So I wanted to share those two with you because they're really powerful, that what we actually desire, even to save our own human life, can come through healing. Remember, change creates healing. Healing is manifestation, whether it's your body, mind, or spirit, which is your physical body healing, your mental, emotional stuff healing, your heart healing for love, money flowing, things coming in. It should be the exact way that humans, with this soulful essence that we have, should be operating, because this is our divine right. Our divine right is to live in peace. You may talk about political stuff, but what I want to say is heal yourself first before you actually try to go out and heal the world. Why? Because it will overtake you and it will destroy you, literally.
So much good stuff in there. And I love the stories because they show us, right? And someone may be thinking to themselves, I've wanted financial security, or I want to get out of debt. I want to, I have this health, my health, I'm getting closer to middle age now, or getting, beyond middle age. And I'm noticing these things going on in my body, or whatever it is. And, you guys, I wanted to hear from you just in the chat, just one thing that is meant for you, that is not part of your current existence. What are you guys feeling that is available to you, but you're not quite open up to it? There, you might feel some resistance, as in my example earlier, where we're like, oh, I'd really, really like this. But then you're like, oh, but how? I don't see the way. So I don't really believe that it is possible for me.
Well, I see an Academy member on here. We're not going to point which one she is, but I'd like to say is the concept of love, right? We talk about love a lot. So why don't she just reminded me of that by looking at her? I'm not saying that that's her, but she did attend some love stuff. So love is what one aspect that humans, us people, seem to be missing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And even if we are partnered, so often we're not feeling secure in that. We're not feeling, and it is possible to be partnered for decades and to be in love with, and to feel the love, that connection with that person, just like on your first date, or when you first really came close and connected. And there is literally everything that you can imagine, right? Everything that you want to bring into your life is possible in a way that is authentically pleasing to you, in a way that is authentically will bring you joy and fulfillment. That's really the word that we're hitting on here. So, obviously we spoke to you today about the fact that you do have the power to create your life, right? We also talked about the fact that we often put up resistance to having those things, right? And the idea that, we may be declaring what we want, but at the same time declaring that we can't have it. And so that really keeps us in a place of not being able to manifest, to bring things in. We talked about how the Academy supports you in creating, letting down the resistance, and allowing in all of the things that are clearly meant for you. So there's a couple things that I think we always like to leave people with, some really practical things to do. And I think that what I would like to offer is, starting a small practice that is really devoted to manifestation. And of course, in the Academy, there are so many tools and a trajectory that we take you through, right? Our method for bringing you the greatest life that you can create. But a couple of things that you could start doing today is, number one, letting that beautiful space of imagination and creativity, and just really putting down some things that you think you might like, no matter how grand they are, right? If you want to be an artist who travels the world and makes your living from your art, write it down and think about it, right? Don't be in that space where we're like, oh, well, that could never happen. How could that be? Really just let those dreams kind of give yourself some permission, just to dream and play with the kinds of things that you might like. We could talk about financial from a wealth standpoint, right? I'd like to be able to leave my children with to buy a house for each of my children, and whatever it is, right? Without limitation, really give yourself a place to dream about that. And then another thing, and Mia, maybe you have a couple little tricks, but one thing that I like to do is, and this is something you can do when you're doing other things, which is great, like driving in your car, washing the dishes, going for a walk, whatever. I have a specific playlist that is one song that connects me to my power and reminds me of our ability to manifest. And in the chat here, I'm going to put 2 songs that you guys can just check out. And not that these have to be on your playlist, but it gives you an idea of the energy that can come from listening to those words in music. Mia, I know you've spoken many times about the power of music and to connect us to these powerful parts of us.
And imprinting it, right, within ourselves.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
like when Lori turns this on, she's already imprinted this song as her uplifting space back into being a creator that she is. And so when we do that, it's just another way to raise our vibration.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because we want to feed our brains, our hearts with the information, with the things that connect us to our power, right? All day long, we might be out in the world and we might, get more bills in the mail. We might have a fight with our partner or just feel lonely or whatever. And we're like, yep, see, that's my reality. That's, my existence. So we want to shift out of that. That's based on yesterday's thoughts. Anything that you're experiencing today, that was yesterday's thoughts. You're creating tomorrow with the thoughts that you're having today, with the energy, with the emotion, with the excitement that you bring to today. You are literally creating tomorrow.
Yeah, it is all
Larry
about the
says,
energy.
all about energy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what's
Beautiful,
really
Larry.
important
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, what's really important is it is about the energy. You become energetic. So when Lori's talking about in your downtime, I want to say a couple of things here. She's absolutely right. But the focus of who we are is what's incredibly important. We cannot shift and change who we are just by osmosis. One reason why I'm so dedicated, and you find your reason why you're dedicated to you and or helping others, but it has to be you first to heal yourself, like we talked about earlier. My mother lived a life of, when I get there, I will be able to. And so when my mom had dementia and she had gone back in time, and she would say to my kids, well, next week when I get out of here, the facility that she was in, I'm going back to school. I'm going back to college. That was her dream. She never did it. Her mental illness kept her trapped, but she also didn't focus on her own creation. Fortunately, I bypassed somehow those genes that got passed to her, and I became who I am. Remember, we cannot wish it into reality. Have to actually create it. Now, the last several years have been, since the pandemic have been, and I got to share this because people have been asking me, why are you so different, Mia, than you were before? And it really is about, most people know that in 2020, I was diagnosed with cancer that was healed in 4 months. And then I had a reoccurrence later on. The point is that I got focused into my healing 24/7. When I was not talking to clients, when I was not doing something that had me, I was focusing on all my spiritual awarenesses, reciting things that I remembered from childhood, metaphysical statements, ways of being, filling myself up. What that did was I created a meditative mind. And so when we focus in, that's how I received that RV so fast.
Yeah.
It was only within a week that I had decided, wow, I want to get an RV for my son. And then a 30-foot RV comes my way. I mean, in beautiful condition.
Yeah.
It's incredible, brand new, with it is several years old, but it was brand new. It had the mattresses were covered still in plastic. Everything was still in pristine condition. So it's about what you want to create, right? And you've got to focus on who you are and elevating yourself. These last 2 years of severe or beautiful focus has really brought me back to my husband, right? Because a lot of you have heard that I recognize that I was the one creating the issue for my early childhood stuff, and it all melted away. So where do you want to be? Not in dream state, but in your reality. First dream it, and then let's bring it into fruition. That is always the plan of creation. You have to know where you want to go, even if you don't know the exact steps. When you open it up, things will come forward, like the Academy for people. This is why we created this together, Lori and I, because our stories were sort of similar, where we had enough of what we had in our life and we both wanted something different. We went out, we recreated our life. Then with that, we ended up connecting together and meeting each other in order to bring about this fabulous academy.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. And the thing I think that we could really take away from the story with the RV is there was just no doubts, right?
Yeah.
There was no room for, oh, what if that doesn't happen? Wouldn't that be great if it was just done?
Mhm.
And that's the instant manifestation, right? When it's just done, there's no room for me to consider anything else. It is.
And thank you for saying instant manifestation, because literally manifesting is instantaneous, but we have to be aware. I could tell you, so one of the things that I've done over the last few months is remembering my greatness in my healings and been writing them down. And what that's done for me is realize it is, and I was always taught that it's instantaneous. People don't believe that until they actually experience it. What's keeping your thoughts from having something change and shift immediately as opposed to 5 weeks down the road? Is your belief different that you're worthy of it then and not now? For all the things that we help you shift and change, breaking your old belief patterns, recreating exactly energetically who you are.
Exactly. And that's really, helping you see where the blocks are, right? Where the resistance is to being able to have no doubts. This is for me, right? And I am the most powerful creator that there is. Each one of us has the ability to do that. So we're so grateful to all of you for coming today and for sharing this conversation with us. I hope very much that it reminds you that you are a creator, and that it is truly as simple as owning that and claiming what it is that you want. Now, I say as simple as that, but of course, there can be a little bit of a process. So that's what we love about the work, is just helping people understand how to create something, how to have no doubt about what it is that they want. So does anybody have anything that they would either like to share or a question that we can answer for you? I'd love to hear what people are feeling, what's rising up in you that says, this is what I want. I'm ready to create it. So, and we can always think about that and post it in our Facebook group, because that's the space, right? When you show up and you say, I want this, it's a brave thing to do. But it also really signals to the universe, oh, she's serious. He's serious. He's not messing around anymore. He just put it out there and declared it to be. So I hope that some of you will think about this, and maybe it'll just, appear on your heart, and you'll want to share it. But we would love to help you create it, help you call it in and start living from that place.
And also removing any fears you have.
Yes.
Because of when I was experiencing those episodes with cancer, my fear was great that I was going to die. And I didn't even realize that. But I went on this discovery journey of what was off slightly there. And I healed that experience too, that fear. So fear is what stops us from moving forward. And all it is a perception change. That is a perception change. That's
Absolutely.
simple.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so anything else before we leave?
No, I think that's some good stuff to take away and really, think about. And the other thing is, to start to notice when I'm thinking about wanting my financial security, wanting a beautiful, big, bold, connection, love connection, or whatever it is, start to notice what comes in behind it. What are the thoughts that come in that say, yeah, but, right? Because if we can get a hold of those, we can work with them so that they're no longer pulling you back from the clarity and the purity of those hearts and those desires and that energy.
Yeah. And remember, healing is everything. Every aspect of who you are, because it's change.
Yeah. So good to be with you all.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you guys haven't been to the greatestyouacademy.com, we really recommend that you check it out, because this is a starting point for so much. A lot of people come our way for healings as well, because they've heard or they've seen some of the miraculous stuff that I've done with
people. Yeah, people have been able to do once they open up to it. Yeah,
exactly. All right, everybody. Since nobody has any more questions, we're going to turn off the recording.
okay.